going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Dangle, Bet, Celly, Chris Meaney, and Eric Young here with you, breaking down everything in the NHL. We're going to hit the waiver wire. We're going to talk about today's massive 11-game slate in the NHL, a few picks, a few props, call some goals, and we're going to kick things off by congratulating EY on a very successful Sunday in the NFL. You had a great Thursday, too, by the way. You called a lot of upsets. I got the Preds down here, the Oilers, and the Ducks who continue to tear it up. But, man, you had a big Sunday. You won, what, $3,200 in the NFL DFS?
I mean, $35.50, but who's counting, Chris? You know, it's on $37. I'll add to two separate contests. Yeah, like, look, I mean, like, media would probably do the show even if we weren't recording it. It would just be us on our laptops talking about hockey. But the reality is we do Dangle, Bet, Celly here on FTN because we're trying to help people win money, you know, and that's what the show is designed to do. Like, you know, I can say that I'm keeping the money. I'm not sharing it with anybody, but I really should. The FTN optimizer, you know, guys like Elliot Christ and Derek Brown and you and Jake Celly, Matthew Friedman, you know, the list goes on and on. Super smart people that are all smarter than me. I listen to them, people that specialize in daily football. And I made some decisions on my own. I use the optimizer to help me. And with $37, I made $35.50. So it does happen. I mean, it happens to regular people. It happens to people that go into tournaments with single entry. It could be you, you know, watch this show, like, share, talk about it. You mean, like, some of the listeners here are just as smarter than I am. And I learned a ton by reading the comments and thinking about the questions they have. So we're creating this cool community. Like I said, I'm not sharing the money with any of you guys, but I'll tip my cap and say that I didn't do it alone.
Fair enough. No, dude, that's your money. That's what we're here for. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a lot of sharp dudes over at FTN, and we really do have a lot of sharp dudes over there. I mean, there's this really cool show, The Optimal, with Kyle Murray, and he goes over, you know, he's a big NBA guy. He's also a big NFL guy, but every day he goes over just like projections, the optimizer, how to use it, you know, just the perks that it does offer. And man, it's a really sharp show, and it's cool just to think about, you know, what he's thinking, right? To just kind of get inside his mind. You know, he touches base on people who, you know, just maybe they're new to DFS or they're playing in, you know, in tournaments where you know, over 100 lineups and stuff like that. And he reviews
crazy
things that happened, like in the NBA. I mean, I don't know, Tino, I don't know if you're a Mike's hot, but I think he won. I think he's got 3 top 3 finishes over the last week or so. You know, not just, you know, you won 3,500, which is great. I mean, dude won 20 grand the other day. Right. But yeah, it's great. He's reviewing the lineups, what went right, what went wrong, some adjustments that he could make and stuff. It comes with ownership projections, fantasy projections, ceiling projections, all that stuff. It's a pretty cool show. It's absolutely free. You can check out over at ftndaily.com. So yeah, congrats to you, sir. That's awesome. I love it. Man, I'm so happy for you. And hopefully we can keep things going here. And there was one question already on the fly. Somebody asked us, is there an optimizer for NHL? Not yet, hopefully. That's something that I'd love to be able to have in the works here in the future. We're going to talk DFS throughout the show.
Me and Chris are the manual optimizer right now.
That's right, yeah.
Talk to us. We do it all with our abacus and our calculators and stuff like that. So just ask us and we'll let you know. You know, we're not right all the time, but I feel like even if you don't agree, like the things that we're going to say are going to make you think, make you a sharper player. That's just the reality of it. Like you said, I had a really good Thursday. Put some bets on some dogs and a couple goal scorers. Kyle Connor continues to shine. Our Anaheim Ducks continue to shine, but we do have 11 games, man. So enough about how awesome of a gambler I am. Let's move on.
Man, Troy Terry, right? We'll get to the Ducks a little bit later on, but I keep putting in Troy Terry in the bet tracker for plus 150 or plus 180 and around that range over the last week and a half or so for an assist and basically even money for a point. He just continues to do it. You're right. We have 11 games to get to. The notepad it's bare. It's empty. It's blank, so we got to get some names on it. If you're
Notepad.
if you're new to the show, thanks for taking the time to hang out. Please rate, review, subscribe wherever it is that you listen on your favorite podcast platform. It is available. If you're hanging out with us live, you have any questions, please leave them there in the YouTube section. Smash that like button. We have a couple people hanging out with us. Dustin Chafe.
Yeah.
Is it Chafee? Cool. Chaff? Is it Chaff, Dustin? My apologies, man. I'm brutal at last names. I really am, but you are one of the loyal listeners and viewers, and we really appreciate you. Kevin Brown is with us. Good morning, guys. Mark Harrison, also a loyal listener and viewer as well. Chris and Biggie, let's get it. Chris, you need a bigger notepad for today. Dude, you're right. Man,
a lot of
you
games.
don't even want to see my desk. Like, I got notepads up the yin-yang up here. Like, it's wild, man. November is happening. All the sports are happening. It is crazy. So Chafee, Dustin, appreciate that. And my apologies, dude, for messing that up over the years of hanging out with us here today. So a lot of games to get to. Any waiver wire stuff here before? Like, I saw you, man, you really are a fantasy hockey psycho. I got the notification this morning that you added and grabbed somebody in one of my leagues early on this morning before I even got up out of bed. And like, man, he's all over it. Anything that you have done here to start the week? It is week 6 already in fantasy hockey.
Well, we talked a little bit before the show, and it's unfortunate with the New Jersey game being canceled because the New Jersey Devils have got a couple sneaky fantasy players. Like they haven't been good in years, and I feel like they've got like that Ottawa Senator stigma where it's like, oh, we can't have these players. Look, the New Jersey Devils are shooting the puck like crazy. They got a ton of high danger chances. They haven't got the goals, but they will go. The law of averages said that it will regress to the mean. Players like Jesper Bratt, players like Andreas Johnson, like there's a ton of guys that I guarantee you are not owned in your league. They're getting it done, are acquiring assists, are piling up shots. If your league counts shots, and it should, because it's the most important stat in my opinion. I think Chris's too. It's the telltale fantasy stat for hockey. That's where production all comes from. So that's a very telltale stat. But there's some really interesting guys there to keep an eye on. And the Anaheim Ducks, too, obviously. Troy Terry breaks my heart. I had him in our Dynasty salary cap league last year, and he didn't do much. No. And I dropped him over the summer. And now, of course, he's, arguably the greatest player in NHL history.
Yeah, what he's doing is absolutely unbelievable. And Getzlaf, Getzlaf has the exact same amount of points this season as he did last season too. So a nice resurgence. And it didn't look like there was talk, right, that he would maybe leave the Ducks, which would have been weird. He wanted to go back and finish his career there. And now he's the franchise point leader for Anaheim. But there was other teams. I know the Canadiens were interested in him as well. But yeah, Troy Terry is awesome. I wanted to give a shout out to Dawson Mercer. So you're right. No Devils game. Our guy, producer Tino here, was going to go to the game today. Dawson Mercer, 2020 first round pick. So a couple years ago, and man, he's lighting it up. He's got 11 points here, and he's got 3, 4, 5, 6 points over a current 4-game streak. He's shooting the puck quite a bit as well, but unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to get on the ice here today, as Ottawa's games all week have been postponed, the 3 games, so we won't talk about them today. But you're right, there's 11 games, so let's get after it. Actually, before we get after it officially, Seattle, the Kraken, are not on the schedule here today. I wanted to just talk about them for a quick second because this is looking into some of the numbers here. So we have a pretty good sample size, 5 weeks now. I like to look at 5-5 numbers. You do as well. I want to get your thoughts on just the Kraken and if you think Philip Grubauer can turn it around. Looking at the 5-5 numbers, Seattle has allowed the fewest shot attempts, the fewest shots, the fewest scoring chances, the fewest high danger chances at 5-5 per 60, but they've allowed the second most goals at 5-5 per 60. Only the Blackhawks have allowed more. And I was looking at the goalie numbers, so I was like, I know Grubauer hasn't been fantastic, but like what does his numbers really look like? His 5-5 save percentage is .881. It's dead last in the NHL among goalies with 200 minutes, 46th overall. Do you view him as a buy low candidate in fantasy hockey? Because a lot of people are kind of shitting on him right now.
Yeah, I think I would view him as a buy low. And the reason for that is look, this team, I was at the Preds game the other night when they played Arizona. Me and my buddy were talking about this. The Seattle team, when they put it together, didn't make sense. I was very against how they structured it. I was very against how they didn't go after any star free agents. I get analytics is a big part of the game, but the reality is numbers don't score goals, and they don't have anybody that can just take over a game, skate down the wing and shoot the puck in the net. Playing hard like that, shift in and shift out, and having to scrape and claw and earn every single goal is exhausting. I mean, it's an exhausting way to play. It's an exhausting way to exist in the NHL, and they don't have any guys that can just get it done. Yanni Gourde is a guy that, me and you both love, but the reality is he's not going to score 20 goals. I don't think that's going to happen. And he might be their best player on their team. So, and they've got an entire team of him. And the reality is, I think the experiment looks like it's failed. Grubauer could be a pickup, though, like you said, with the shots, and he's not going to continue to let in this many goals. I mean, I think he's a good goalie. I think he's a starting goalie, and I think the analytics will prove out to be that the goal numbers will come down for them, and in turn, he'll be a better start going forward. So I wouldn't sell the farm for him or anything, but I think you could probably get him really cheap. You may even be able to pick him up off waiver wires.
Yeah, his ownership has dropped 5% here the last 24 hours. In Yahoo Leagues, it's 77%. I mean, he allowed 5 goals to the Ducks. We can call him our Ducks. Quack, quack, Mr. Ducksworth. I mean, they're playing really good. But
Flying
still 5
boys.
goals to Anaheim. And then 5 goals the game before that to the Arizona Coyotes, right? Who beat the Kraken. And all of a sudden, this Seattle team lost
their only win.
Yeah. Seattle's lost 4 straight and 6 of their last 7. So they're struggling, but I do view him as a buy low candidate. It's early. It's a new system for him. He's a pretty good goalie. Just gave you the numbers. Like, Seattle's not giving up a lot, right? They're not giving up a lot of high quality chances, not a lot of chances at all in general. So, I do view him as a buy low, but I agree with you. I wouldn't give up the farm. Let's talk about tonight. Let's start things off with your Preds and your Leafs. My goodness, what are you going to do here tonight, Eric? You got Nashville at plus 180 on DraftKings is the best possible odds if you want to back the Preds. Again, using our free parlay calculator and prop shop over at ftnbets.com, minus 190. Something I didn't say off the top of the show. If you're looking to be part of the NHL package, use that promo code NHL, 20% off. We're still going to give away some stuff here as well. If you missed the first few episodes, we're going to have Pete Jensen of NHL Network join us next week. It's going to be a great episode. We're going to have these episodes for you throughout the season. A couple 3-week episodes for you as well. 3 episode weeks, I'll say. But if you are looking to be part of the FTN package, use that promo code NHL. All picks across every sport available to you over at ftnbets.com. Discord channel where we can talk bankroll management and as well as some tools as well. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Promo code NHL. But again, show us a screenshot that you've rated, you've reviewed, and send that over to us at Chris Meaney, at the Eric Young, or Mean Streets FTN at Gmail, and we'll put you in a draw for a betting package. But your Preds, your Leafs, total 5.5. Both teams playing pretty good right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, both teams are playing good. Like, you could look at this as a person that grew up a Maple Leafs fan who still supports them. They don't make it easy most of the time. As a person who lives in Nashville and moved here and does a ton of stuff with the team, knows a ton of the players, loves the organization. I win no matter what. One of my teams is going to win tonight. It's a guaranteed win. I don't know how to go. I mean, I'll say that the plus 180 is pretty intriguing. Nashville has been playing very well. A guy that we were on in the first week of the season, I said to go and pick him up everywhere, Matt Duchene. I mean, I don't think he's going to do it, but he's on pace right now to smash every scoring record the Preds have ever held, ever. So if he keeps up this pace, he will be the all-time leading goal scorer season-wise for the Preds. He will be points leader. He will be everything. I think it will regress, but he looks like a different player. Saros has been unbelievable, especially at home. I know that they're playing in Toronto, so that is something. But the plus 180 in the Preds, I might have to. I'm not going to go big time on that, but I think I might have to lean on that. And I would go the under here. I think both these goalies are playing really well.
Yeah, I leaned to the under as well. Both goalies have been phenomenal. Assuming that Jack Campbell is going to get the start here, like, nothing is confirmed coming at you early this morning, but I would assume it would be UC Soros and Jack Campbell. And just looking at overall, just the 5-on-5 save percentage, I know I kind of was all over Grubauer there for a minute, but both goalies here inside the top 12. UC Soros a 942 save percentage at 5-on-5, and Jack Campbell a 940. Actually, he's tied for ninth with James Reimer, by the way, who's had a pretty good start. Up at the top, do you want to guess who the goalie is with the best save percentage at 5-on-5 so far this season? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. It's Jonathan Quick. Markstrom's number 2. It's Jonathan Quick. Okay. Jonathan Quick at 959 save percentage. Calvin Peterson is owning more leagues than him. They've been going back and forth. The Kings are not in action tonight, but assuming that they continue to rotate, you'll have Jonathan Quick over the weekend against Arizona, so a pretty good pickup there. And number 3 on that list is Bobrovsky, who's been great. But I agree. I like the under. We've been hammering William Nylander 2.5 shots, but books are really starting to adjust. He's been really good, man. He's been awesome. Books are adjusting. I'm seeing now plus 140 at William Hill. That's a little high, plus 140 for 3.5 shots. I know DK's been hanging 2.5 at like minus 150, minus 160. It's going to get a little steep, but I think, if you're playing parlays here and you want to get, just 4 guys, I think you can put him in there. He didn't hit in the last game, but man, he had hit in 6 straight games before that, actually 7 straight games before that, 5, 4, 6, 5, 5, and 4. He's been shooting the puck quite a bit, 7 goals and 8 assists. There is a guy that I like here on this team, man, and we've been down this road before, but what have you seen from Ondrej Kase? He's now promoted to the top line, Eric, and he's got goals in 3 straight games.
Yeah, they were talking about him on the last Leafs broadcast, and a player that I feel like I've always kind of liked, even when he played in Anaheim. Big guy, can really skate, offensive touch, can shoot the puck pretty well, is good all over the ice, and his good plays being rewarded. He's playing on the 4th line, being asked to do very little, and him moving up, I think, is a big deal. Bunting was not working out there, another player that I like, but I think Kase has more offensive upside, and a guy that I've always liked. So this will be very interesting to see if he can get that, keep that role and get it to stick.
At least 2 shots in 9 straight games. As I mentioned, 3 goals over a 3-game goal streak, and he played 17:52 in his last game, which was by far a season high. This is somebody who is getting 10 to 12 minutes really any given night. And now with that promotion to the top line, he's certainly in play in DFS. I don't love this game, as we talked about. It's the under, but Kasha's 2.6. Like, it's a great one-off. It's a great punt play. You can save yourself a lot of cash by going to him.
It's almost automatic, right? You're going to be on the ice with those 2 other players. Yeah. Like, all he has to do is touch the puck once, and he could have a point. So at that price, I feel like it's a no-brainer.
Let's see what he is for a point. Can't find him. We'll have to find later on. I mean, DraftKings has been pretty slow here for stuff. I'd imagine he probably won't even be on the board for a point, but he may be on the board for an anytime goal, and he could be plus 280, 380, something in around there for an anytime goal. And like you said, I mean, playing with those 2 studs. Plus, he's a volume shooter. He likes to shoot the puck, and he has a pretty nice release. I know that Nylander and Matthews like to shoot the puck as well, but playing with those guys, opportunities will come. The next game on the board here, the Islanders and the Panthers. The Islanders lost last night. Varlamov was in net, so I expect Ilya Sorokin to get going here today. And the Florida Panthers, our Panthers, they're heavily juiced here at minus 165. I like them, though. They're in a pretty good spot. It's a tough back-to-back. Anytime somebody has to go Tampa, Florida, like that is tough as it gets. Yep. And the Islanders are on a 13-game road trip to start the season. This is their final game of that 13-game road trip. They have their home opener this Saturday against the Flames, waiting for the new building to be built. Oh, it's done now. It's ready to go, but that's what they were waiting for. That 13-game road trip to start is extremely tough, Eric. I'm going to back Florida here. Do you see potential in upset? The Islanders are obviously really good.
They are good, but it's hard to think that you're going to outscore the Panthers. That's what I feel there. I just feel like the Panthers are going to always have that ability to get one more if they need it. I think Sorokin has been pretty good, but Varlamov has looked pretty bad. I mean, I get that he played last night. He's not going to play. But the goaltending for the Islanders hasn't been what it has been before. This is a crazy 13-game road trip. That's probably got a lot to do with it. Like, look, man, these guys haven't slept in their own bed in almost a half of a calendar month. You know what I mean? They've been on the road, living out of a suitcase. As a person that's done that for 15 years, I can tell you that it sucks. And it's hard to be comfortable, and it's hard to have a routine and all of those kind of things that you have at your own home. So I'm not betting on the Islanders to win this one. I'm not going against Florida at home. Like them too much. And I would probably do the under here.
It's again, shot props are not out right now. I mean, books are really, really slow here this year to get them out. But Sam Bennett, I mean, he's our guy. He's averaging almost 4 shots per game here with the Panthers, dating back to last season and into the postseason. Last year, he just continues to do it every single day. He's right there in terms of the shot attempts, which is something that I like. He's cleared it in 3 straight since he's been back here after he missed 4 games with an injury. He's got 11 shots, 1 goal. He does absolutely everything for you from a fantasy standpoint. I'm surprised to see his ownership has dropped over the past 24 hours. I mean, he's an automatic pickup if you see him there, especially in leagues with hits and faceoffs. He does a little bit of there. So I got to put him on the board here. Bennett, I do like Barkov and I like Aaron Eckblad as well as guys that I think if your books offer them, they're in play. But for Bennett, that's the first place I would go. These Islanders, we talked about it. I think they just had a really tough start to the season. I believe they played Florida. They got smashed against the Panthers earlier in the year. And then I think Carolina cooked them as well. But the Islanders, they've given up the most shot attempts at 5-5 per 60 minutes. They're inside the top 10, of course, in shots. They've given up the 3rd most scoring chances against at 5-5 per 60. And they've given up the 9th most high danger chances per 60 minutes at 5-5. That's unusual for this Islanders team. Maybe it has something to do with this long road trip. You mentioned it. You talked about it. It's really tough for anybody to be, 5 weeks to start the season on the road is crazy in any sport. It's absolutely wild. But I'll back Florida here, and I'm in on Sam Bennett. You like the under. From a DFS standpoint, guys, these over at DraftKings, these guys for the Panthers are underpriced. I mean, Bennett is down to 4.6. Huberdeau is 5.3. I mean, that's a interesting duo, in my opinion, in DFS. And this Islanders team just played last night against Tampa. Florida generates a lot of chances. I just gave the Islanders numbers, in a bad way. Here's Florida's numbers at 5-5 per 60. Number 1 in shot attempts. Number 1 shots for. Number 2 scoring chances. Number 3 high danger chances. And goals for per 60. They're inside the top 5. I mean, they're generating. It's opposite, right? It's one team that's generating so much and this other team that's giving up so much. So I think we can get involved with some shot props. I think we take some value here with the Florida Panthers. Anything else to add?
No, yeah, I think you nailed it, man. That's how I feel. I feel the poor Islanders. I mean, at the end of this road trip, I mean, I just don't think there's a way for them to win there. And I did want to say one quick thing about Aaron Ackblad. He's a freak. I mean, he completely destroyed his leg. I think it was under 8 months ago. And as a person that's 6 months removed from an ACL surgery, I can assure you that his leg does not feel like his leg. Mine certainly doesn't. And his injury was 100 times worse than mine. And the fact that he's this good and playing at this level in the NHL it's baffling, man. I mean, tip of the cap to Eric. I know that has nothing to do with gambling or anything like that. But I just wanted to say it out loud. It's an unbelievable feat. I mean, just an unbelievable feat right now.
I'm seeing his shot prop 2.5 plus 105 at William Hill. I mean, that's not bad. He hits more than he doesn't. He's a guy that just gets a lot of ice time, right? He's an absolute beast, man. He's gonna be on Team Canada on the blue line for sure. Got a couple people hanging out with us here. We'll touch on some comments here. Why not? Thoughts on Trevor? I think Zegras, Mark, we'll save that for the Ducks here in a little bit. Evan Nylander over 2.5. Jonathan Quick and Ryan Getzlaf have been turning back their clock. Evan, I agree with you there. Mark says Nylander 3.5 for him. Yeah, 3.5 is a little high. Nylander point is a good bet. We have Evan 3.5 is a little risky for me. I love 2.5, but he's going to hammer Nylander anytime point total. Point tonight, I agree with that one. Troy, we'll get to the Ducks in a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of Ducks conversation here in the chat, which is something I like. Mark Harris and Chris Caesars have player props up early. I don't bet with them, but they do give out players earlier than any book. I agree. Those north of the border, Bet365, really good odds, and they have Also you can play Bet365, I think in the Jersey area. I think Tino plays it, but north of the border, there's not a lot of books available. Bet365 has, they have like 10 to 12 different options in each game for shot props. It's really, really good. And Evan says Buchnevich or Tarasenko over their shot prop against the Yotes is my lock. Yeah, I like both of those guys. Buchnevich looks pretty good. Keep the comments coming. Any questions, guys? We can hit them throughout the show here. I love that there's some interaction here on the show. That's what I've been looking for. So awesome to hang out with us here, guys. Let's move on to the next game. We have Montreal and the Rangers. The Rangers are heavy favorites here, -175. The Habs are +165 here. Another team just, really juiced in the Rangers. Again, looking at some of these 5-on-5 numbers, Eric, man, the Rangers are not checking a lot of boxes. In fact, they've been one of the worst 5-on-5 teams in the league so far this season. Igor Shesterkin has kind of saved their bacon in the net, but the Habs, man, they don't generate a lot of offense. They're playing good 5-on-5. They're inside the top 15 and a lot of, they've been one of the better 5-on-5 teams over the past few years. I know they lost a big part of their number one line in Deneau and Tatargon. That was one of the better 5-on-5 lines, but Jake Allen is questionable here. Montembeault is, he's been okay, but he's not a great goalie, let's be honest. And I think the Rangers could maybe get something going here 5-on-5. But the biggest thing here is the Canadians. They take a lot of penalties, the most time shorthanded in the league. They're one of the worst penalty kills in the league all year. And they struggle as special teams. They struggle to score goals and they struggle to, stop them. Do you think the Habs could upset, or are you back in the Rangers?
It's the NHL. It's insane. And they look good for 2.5 periods in the game just before this. The Habs did. They let it sip away. I feel that's, leadership. They're kind of in the likeness of Seattle, where they don't, Suzuki is a guy that is very good, but I don't ever see him taking over a game. They don't have anybody like that they can just rely on. Armia, I think, scored his first goal. I think I heard a stat on the broadcast, the most shots without a goal in the entire NHL. So, that's good. Get that monkey off his back, and he gets going a little bit. A player that I really like, big guy, can really skate, goes hard to the net, and shoots the puck a ton. So I would not bet on them to win. I would bet I would probably go the over here. I know that the under is where I go a lot of the time. Going the over one is more fun, and two, the neither goaltending on either team has been unbelievable. Shesterkin has saved them for sure, but the Rangers are giving up a ton of chances. So I would probably go the over. I think the Rangers win this one.
Yeah, I think the Rangers win it too. But yeah, it's really weird to see this Rangers team dead last in shots for at 5-on-5 per 60. And they don't check any other metrics. Third worst in shot attempts, third fewest scoring chances, fourth fewest high danger chances. And at 5-on-5, both teams are in the bottom 5 in goals for per 60. But they get a break here today if there's no Jake Allen. Montembeault is, like I said, he's not fantastic. So I think some of these Rangers from a DFS standpoint would be in play for me. I would go to the Zibanejad Kreider duo. Maybe you can just attack that number one power play. You can get Panarin in. He's really hasn't done a whole lot this season at 5-on-5, but Panarin, Ryan Strome is 4-7, and then maybe Adam Fox. Like that's a power play that you could attack in DFS. Just play that power play. As I mentioned, the Habs taking a lot of penalties. Discipline hasn't been there, and the PK hasn't been great. Suzuki's my shot prop guy here for today. He's been plus money. I can't trust Mika Zibanejad. I just can't trust him, man. Like sometimes he has games where, he puts like 5 or 6 pucks towards the net, and other times he just, he's like, where is he? He's not showing up. But at least Suzuki he's a top 20 player right now in fantasy. He's got 14 points on the season. He was on a massive point streak. He's gone scoreless here over his last 2 games, but he's cleared 2.5 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 7 games, 2.5 shots. So I like him this evening for a shot prop, and I like Shesterkin and net over at DraftKings and on FanDuel. I think we can move on from that one, but Suzuki is inside my top 5. In terms of shot attempts. Yeah, we got some guys hanging. Evan Kreider's shot props have been fairly reliable. Yeah, he's a volume shooter. He's a great fantasy asset. He hits. He's on that power play. He kind of parks his butt in front of the net, so he gets deflections. He gets rebounds. And they kind of play like pitch and catch with him and Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. So the assists are always in play for, if power plays are there as well. And Mark Harrison, Mika Zibanejad won't shoot. Suzuki missed the last game. It did hurt us, but, he was up against what the Bruins did. It was just one line that can come at you with the Habs. And what the Bruins did with Bergeron, they kind of matched up. When Suzuki was on the ice, the perfection line was on the ice, and that's kind of what hurt Suzuki. The Rangers don't have that luxury tonight, so I think Suzuki is in for a bounce-back opportunity. Calgary and Philadelphia, there's a lot of heavy favorites here. This is basically a pick-em. Finally, a game here that's kind of a coin flip. You're right. The NHL, anything can happen, but there's been some massive favorites. There's a lot of massive favorites here tonight. The Flames are minus 115. And Philadelphia's home dogs here at plus 107. I don't have confirmation in net, but I do believe we will see Markstrom between the pipes for Calgary. And we do actually have Carter Hart, who is confirmed, who's been pretty decent this season. What do you make of this game?
Yeah, this is tough, man. These are two teams that I like to watch. If I was going to lean, I would lean Calgary here. I mean, they're just so aggressive, man, and it just wears teams out. It's hard to get anything going because they just pressure you, even on the penalty kill. If you watch the games, they're just all over you. If you're carrying the puck or you have the puck, there's one or two Flames around you at all time. It's hard to get anything going. It's hard to have a rhythm when a team plays like that. They are a Daryl Sutter team. They don't give up a ton of chances as well, and they're going to play aggressive. They're going to shoot the puck from all over the place. And some of these young players are really stepping into their own, like Dylan Dubé, Mangiapane. We've talked about a bunch. Goudreau's having a very good season. Rasmus Anderson on the blue line. The Killington kid is doing very well. I'm not sure that's how you say his name, but they're a really interesting team, man. I'm going to probably go Calgary to win this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm in on Calgary. Yeah, guys, we'll address some of the questions if we don't get to them. I'll circle back before a puck drop as well. You're watching the replay on this show. We still have a lot of time before these shot props and goalie confirmation comes out. And I will always jump in, like last week, jumped into the YouTube section. Hey, this guy's scratched. This guy's a good play here. But I like the call that I think I just saw, like Fox anytime point. Yeah, Mark Harrison. I'm going to go Fox anytime point. I think that's pretty good. How do you feel about Kachuk? I assume we're talking about Matthew here with the Flames. I was looking at the shot attempt leaders. Matthew Kachuk is inside the top 10 in shot attempts. He's a guy that's, I think he's usually in play for shot attempts. If you're looking, 2.5 is usually what he's at. I've been going Elias Lindholm recently with the Flames, and then he burned me in back-to-back games. And then over the weekend, he had a pretty solid day. He had a goal, 22 minutes of ice time, 2 points, a power play point. He had 5 shots. Now, that was against the Sens. He had cleared 2.5 shots in 1, 2, 3, 4 straight before the one shot in back-to-back games against the Habs and the Leafs, but he bounced back. I think I would rather him because of just the ice time that he gets. But, Matthew Kachuk is kind of right there, too, like 18, 17 minutes. He's a guy who really likes to shoot the puck towards the goal, and that's what we like. We like these power play guys. They're kind of the trigger man on the power play. Like Johnny Gaudreau is a great distributor. He's dishing it off more times than not. I will say this with Calgary. I think we touched on it last week, Eric, is they've juggled their lines a little bit. They got Sean Monahan off that fourth line, now up in the top 6 role where he belongs on that second line with your guy Mangiapane and our guy Blake Coleman. So Sean Monahan starting to trend up here. Pick him up. I think in DFS, I think he's definitely underpriced. And I think, in season long, I think he's a pretty good pickup as well. And then Rasmus Anderson, I wanted to get to. I don't think I'm really in on this game. Cam Atkinson's kind of cooled off a little bit. Sean Couturier is usually plus money for shots. I don't mind him. Your guy, Ryan Ellis, was back, and now I'm seeing that he suffered a bit of a setback. He re-injured himself. Man, tough go for him.
He he was hurt quite often at the end of his career with the Preds before he got traded over. I'll say this: he is an unbelievable player. You saw him when we were in Montreal down below. He is a tiny human being. But he never gets pushed around, never gets pushed off the puck. You don't see that, but that kind of a frame, playing that position and being, pushing guys around in front of the net and having to turn around and go back and get the puck and get plastered by guys like Joel Armia or Sean Couturier or these big-bodied guys. That's a hard way to make a living at that size. I'm not, trying to make fun of him, but I mean, the guy is a very slight, tiny human being, and I feel like that kind of physical play is starting to catch up with him. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I would agree. Mark, I do like Kachuk or Lindholm for an anytime point. Looking at this matchup, I like Calgary. I'm with you, Eric, but man, we may not see goals. I feel like we will, but both of these goalies playing really good. Both of them are in the top 5 and 5-on-5 save percentage. Kevin Hayes is back, and he's on that second line with Cam Atkinson and Joel Farabee, so keep an eye on that trio. They're all pretty underpriced over DraftKings and FanDuel. They could be sneaky interesting moving forward. Certainly Kevin Hayes could be. Derek Brassard lost that spot. Buffalo and Pittsburgh here tonight. So the Pens, heavy faves at home, minus 240. The Sabres at plus 225. We got Sid the Kid back in the lineup for the Penguins here. He returned over the weekend. He's underpriced at 6'6". He's only played 2 games. He has no points. He's got 3 shots. It's been just, slow moving for him. He had the offseason wrist surgery, and then he was placed on the COVID list, so he hasn't played a lot of hockey here today, or this season. But he's 6'6". I mean, I think that's pretty strong. Like, he's underpriced, right? I mean, he's a guy that should be mid-7s, low 8s, and he probably will get there at one point. I don't know. Do you lean with a potential upset here? Do you like the Pens? I can't put my money on Pittsburgh, but I do think they win the game. I just don't like minus 240.
Yeah, and DraftKings is showing minus 260. Sabres have been sneaky here and there. But yeah, I'm not betting against the Penguins with Crosby in the lineup.
No, I'm not either. I do like them from a DFS standpoint, though, guys. Crosby, as I mentioned, 6'6". Gentl's 6. Brian Russ is 5'3". Russ has burned me a couple times. But for the most part, he's been great. 3, 4, 6 shots. He had the 1 against Chicago. He had 4 against Florida, and then 1 against Ottawa, and then 4 in his last game. I think just having Crosby, back, and then having those 3 together, Gensel and Rust, I mean, it's a good trio. They've shown chemistry before in the past. I do like Rust at 2.5 shots, and I like Crosby tonight at 2.5 as well. Those are both guys that I do have some interest in here this evening. St. Louis and Arizona in here next. Man, as talk about heavy juice, I mean, minus 303 is the best possible odds if you want to back the Blues at MGM. They're minus 340 on DraftKings. Arizona's plus 290. Looking again at these 5-on-5 numbers, Eric, I mean, Arizona, they're not at the top in terms of allowing a lot of rubber, right? There's other teams in the NHL that allow more chances, high quality chances, shot attempts, but Arizona just doesn't get anything. They're dead last in shots, 4 at 5-on-5. They're third last in shot attempts. They're dead last in scoring chances. They're second last in high danger chances, and they're second last in goals for per 60. So they just don't get any offense. Blues puck line, I guess, could be in play here. What do you make of this matchup?
That'd be about it. Like I said, I saw Preds play Arizona. Me and a really good buddy of mine, Charlie, were discussing. I don't know, other than expansion teams, if there's been a worse team in the NHL ever. I mean, holy God, they're bad, and they are a bad hockey team. There is a few, bright spots, but this is a team sport. You need more than 2 or 3 good players, and those players aren't stars. They're just good players. Other than expansion teams, I'm going to say my stamp that Arizona Coyotes have the worst team in NHL history right now. Sorry, Arizona. Sorry, Coyotes fans. That's just the truth. This is where players go to not care about hockey, hang out in the sun and golf.
Arizona's more focused on posting content on TikTok than winning games. That's from Evan. Yep. It's been a rough go. They're clearly, they're definitely. I'm trying to look on the fly here. The biggest goal differential in the NHL and NHL history. I want to feel like it was the Wings a couple years ago. The largest goal differential, Detroit 15. That doesn't seem right. Maybe that's just in one game. They're minus 37 right now in goal differential, and it's just going to continue to get worse. The next closest team is, oh my goodness, the Canadians. Kind of rough go. Minus 22, the Habs, but minus 37. They're 1-13-1. They have 3 points. They've scored 23 goals, and they've allowed 60. Yeah, it's been a rough go. There's no secret what they want to do. They've been stockpiling draft picks. They want to rebuild. I get it. They're doing it. They're going to make some more trades. Phil Kessel will be the next guy to go. I see Phil Kessel under. I have been taking a look at DraftKings gives these point odds. I know some other books do it too. I don't think it's a bad idea to just take unders when it comes to Kessel or other Arizona players because like they're not hitting the score sheet here. Maybe like under points instead of under shots. But yeah, Blues, puck line. Don't love puck line bets, but I mean, I think always going to be in play. St. Louis smashed them earlier in the year. I think it was like a 7-1 game. You can get St. Louis minus 1.5 goals here to win by 2 at minus 120. I think that's fine. Dude, where would you go in terms of St. Louis from like a DFS standpoint? Like, where do you think the goals are going to come from? I want to look at that top line with O'Reilly, Buchnevich, and Jordan Kyrou. I think that's where I would lean. But Robert Thomas has been red hot.
Yeah, he's been good, man. And we've been kind of waiting for this. I'm going to put a couple bucks on Tarasenko to be an anytime scorer in this. I mean, it could come from anywhere. Like I said, man, Arizona is bad. The goaltending is absolutely atrocious, embarrassingly bad. All of them are bad. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like DFS, if you want to build a lineup, build it around St. Louis Blues tonight. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to do to it as well. Buchnevich, Tarasenko, both of these guys are in play for shot props here today. They're both in play for anytime goals. I think he can get maybe a little cute here tonight and try like a 2-point night for one of these guys. Would probably be pretty good odds. I mean, Buchnevich leads the Blues in shots over the last 2 weeks with 25. Kyrou is second with 23. They've combined for 7 goals and 13 points and 7 power play points. They've both been red hot. Buchnevich has cleared 2.5 shots in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his past 9 games. That's where I would start. Kyrou's a bit of a pass first guy, but he has at least 3 shots in 5 straight games too. So both of these guys, there's a bit of there's chemistry between them, and O'Reilly in the middle. And listen, I mean, they're affordable. For a team that's going up against, like you said, arguably one of the worst teams in NHL history. Kyrou's 4.8 on DraftKings. Buchnevich is 4.3. O'Reilly is 5.5. Braden Shen is out. He's going to be out, I think, several weeks. So there's different ways that you can go here with that top line. Maybe you attack the first power play unit. You can get Perron, O'Reilly, and Tarasenko. It doesn't really correlate well with the 5-on-5 play, but Buchnevich and Jordan Kyrou do. Like, that's a duo that you could do. They play 5-on-5 together, and they play on the power play together as well. So, guys, we're not breaking any news here. Arizona's bad. St. Louis is going to be chalky. But, I mean, if you're a cash game player, I think you could ride with that top line. I think you could play them, eat a little bit of chalk because they are underpriced, and then just get different elsewhere. I've been telling people not to play the goalie against Arizona just because of what we talked about when we teed up this game.
They don't get shots.
This is a team that's not generating any shots, and that's it. If Bennington allows 2 goals today on 14 shots and gets the win, he's not really going to return a profit for you at 8.5. So I think there's other goalies that we will recap at the end, but there's other ways that you can go here from a DFS standpoint. Thomas and Tarasenko are clicking, Evan, absolutely. They look really, really good here. To start the season. Man, I like Buchnevich. They just kind of gave him away. I mean, Sammy Blais is a nice player. The Rangers got him, and Buchnevich is, I don't know, they couldn't work out a contract. I mean, I think it's a good get for St. Louis. The next one here is San Jose and Minnesota. What do we got here for odds? I think we got Minnesota heavily favored. Yeah, minus 175 if you want to back them, and the Sharks at plus 160. I'm kind of interested in the Sharks. I don't know. I definitely like Timo Meier and Brent Burns. Meier is back in the lineup. He returned over the weekend, and we got him pretty late in the tracker, but 45 minutes before puck drop. He had 4 shots and an assist in his return. He's cleared 2.5 shots in 5 straight games. So he and Brent Burns are in play. If you want to go Kaprizov, that's fine. But he's not going to have the best odds of the 3 guys. What do you? I mean, this is also your Wild. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the Wild to win here. San Jose is back to being San Jose. I mean, they're not in the Arizona realm, but they're not a very good hockey team. They got a bunch of overpriced guys that aren't producing, especially on the blue line, and that makes it hard. You get these players that are making a ton of money that aren't getting it done statistically, bogging down your salary cap, and you can't go do anything. Maybe your best offensive player, Vander Kane, is a knucklehead. He doesn't, I don't know, he's suspended for another 20-something games or whatever it is. Tough look for the San Jose Sharks right now.
Yeah, Vladimir checks in. Kundrak says, from what he has seen from Arizona games this year, the work ethic is there, but they simply lack NHL talent. And also they have some injuries now as well. I agree 100%. I mean, again, when you look at the 5-on-5 metrics, this isn't a team that is just getting peppered. Again, you mentioned the goaltending, Eric. It's not great. They just don't have the NHL personnel. They're battling through some injuries. Jacob Chikrin is a really fine defenseman. He's a really good defenseman in the NHL. He's top 10 in shot attempts. He's doing whatever he can, but he's minus like 30. It's just so tough to roster him from a season-long standpoint. But I agree, Vladimir. I think this is a team that's kind of, they're competing every night. They just don't have the personnel. I don't think there's really much here. Brent Burns, I'm seeing minus 125 at Caesars, and I think that's okay. Timo Meier is not there. He's probably going to be like minus 145, minus 150. He could be juiced a little bit, but I would get him in the parlays, and I have no problem going to Brent Burns. These Minnesota Wild, man, they're just a little too expensive for me from like a DFS standpoint. I know they've juggled their lines a little bit, but I just like Eriksson X is 6K. One guy who's really good, been really good this year is Ryan Hartman. I think what he's doing is unsustainable. I think he's got more goals this season than he's had in his previous 2 seasons. He's getting a lot of ice time. He's coming off a 3-point game. He's not getting any power play time. He's throwing his body around, which doesn't help you in DFS, but he's a player in bangers leagues. Just wanted to throw his name out there as a guy who's been, pretty interesting this season.
Yeah.
But I think we can move on. We got 4 more games. We got to get through them here. And Edmonton and Winnipeg, this is the highest total on the board at 6.5. I think we could see some fireworks in this game. We got the Oilers at minus 110, and we have the Jets at minus 105. Basically a pick 'em here. Both teams have been good. Both teams are scoring goals. I like what I've seen from both squads here. I think both of these teams are going to be playoff squads, and I think they could make a run. What do you think for tonight, though?
Oh, geez, the pick'em makes it tough, and like it's just so hard to pick against Edmonton when McDavid and Draisaitl are playing the way they are. I mean, they're 2 of the top 5 players in the NHL, and this is what I talk about. Like, they put those guys on the ice, and at any time they can score. I mean, this is St. Louis or the Seattle Kraken don't have a single player like that, and somehow Edmonton has 2 of the top 5 in the entire world. So I don't like the Jets. I like Hellebuck. I don't know if he's confirmed to play. Every time he's in net, it gives him a chance, but I'm not betting against McDavid and Draisaitl.
What about the over? 6.5, kind of high, but I feel like we can see some goals here.
We could, but man, that's a lot, 6.5, and that's because of the offensive talent in this game. Just McDavid and Draisaitl alone. Not to mention, Hopkins, Puljujarvi on the other side. Scheifele, Wheeler, our guy Kyle Connor has just been an absolute animal. Ehlers, 6.5 is high, but this could be the game to go over.
I think I'm going to do it. Yeah, I think we're going to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. McDavid has a point in every game this season, and he's got a point in 22 straight games dating back to last season. 22 straight regular season games. It's unbelievable what he's doing. I got to go with the over here, guys. I think, as good as Koskinen has played and Hellebuck, I have a lot of respect for him. This Oilers team drives a lot of offense. I think they have 3 or 4 goals in them here tonight, and the Jets are playing really good offensively as well. These are 2 teams that are in the top 10 when it comes to shot attempts and shots for. And scoring chances. The Jets are actually, higher than Edmonton. They have more high danger chances for at 5-5, and they're inside the top 10 in goals at 5-5 per 60. And Edmonton is number 2. So I know it's a high number, but I got to put it on the board here. I think we see some offense here this evening. I think we'll probably see some fireworks. There's a lot of dudes in play here too. I mean, Darnell Nurse has been hitting. Hyman has been hitting. Apart from, I think, maybe the last game, Pierre-Luc Dubois has now jumped up to 2.5. Man, how good has this guy been? He has found chemistry with Kyle Connor, and man, those 2 guys are lightening it up right now. Connor is just too juice. Like, we can't get involved. Books have adjusted with him at 3.5, and Ehlers, they've adjusted as well. Connor's 2.5 minus 200. Like, what the heck? Over at Williams, he's William Hill. He's 3.5 at plus 140. Can't do it. But Pierre-Luc Dubois, Hyman, and Nurse, Those are guys that I like from a DFS standpoint. I mean, there's a lot of guys here that are pretty cheap apart from the studs. From the Winnipeg standpoint, you have Hyman, or from a Winnipeg standpoint, you have Wheeler and Scheifele who are pretty cheap. But Pierre-Luc Dubois is $5K. Like, he's $5K on DraftKings. There's no need of that. Scheifele's averaging 5 fewer fantasy points per game, and he's $1,200 more. And that line has been much better. Hyman at 5.9, Nugent Hopkins at 5.3. Guys, I would game stack this one. The next one is Detroit and Dallas. We have the Red Wings, who played last night and they lost to Columbus. They come in here at plus 168, and the Stars are minus 182. Like, if you want an upset, here you go. Like, who the heck would lay money on minus 182 on this Dallas Stars squad, Eric?
Yeah, not me. It's not going to be me. Again, a bunch of guys making a bunch of money that aren't producing. I mean, Tyler Seguin is very well paid. I mean, he's shooting the puck a ton, but nobody's getting it done. Rupe Hintz finally scored his first goal. I think he's probably the biggest disappointment for me, biggest bust fantasy season long wise. Had him everywhere, and now I think I probably dropped him in most of my teams and moved on. They're a mess. Dallas Stars are an absolute mess.
It's tough to back Detroit like on the second half of a back-to-back. I mean, we keep talking about Lucas Raymond. He was phenomenal again yesterday. Dylan Larkin, like, these are guys that I would consider from shot props. I mean, the Stars are pretty stingy. They don't generate a lot of offense, but their 5-5 metrics are okay. But I will put Larkin on the board. And if you could get Raymond at 1.5. I know Prize Picks was hanging 1.5 last week. It started at 2.5, and then he dropped to 2, and then he went to 1.5. I think if you wanted to get involved with our Prize Picks, use that promo code FTN, a 100% first deposit match of up to $100. But I will put Larkin in there. I just can't back Dallas. I mean, what can we get with Detroit here? Puck line. I mean, that's kind of a cop out, but we could get them plus 1.5. at minus 155. I mean, it's okay if you want to put in some parlays, but it's not my favorite. Let's keep things going here. We got to get out of here. We got 2 more games. We haven't even gotten to our Ducks. This one's pretty good. Carolina and Vegas. Got the Golden Knights home dogs here at plus 108 and Carolina at minus 125. Vegas slowly starting to get some bodies back. I know that Pacioretty is closer, and Mark Stone returned in Vegas's last game. He played 18-38 and he had an assist. I think I lean with Carolina here right now. I just, decent odds for them. I like this Vegas squad. They're still a little depleted, so I got to go with the Hurricanes. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd go probably Hurricanes here too. Vegas still hasn't found their footing, having no Pacioretty. Mark Stone is back. That's a big deal for this team. He's probably the most important offensive player. But I think the biggest thing for me is Robin Leonard has not looked himself at all. I mean, he doesn't look like the same guy. I know that he's been streaky throughout his career, but thinking like, okay, this is his net. They trade Fleury away. The confidence of knowing you're the guy that's going to be counted on, and he just hasn't been good. I'm not saying to drop him or to move on from him, but I do not trust the Golden Knights to win. And look at Carolina they're so fun, man. They are such a fun team to watch.
They are. I saw somebody talk about Kotkaniemi the other day and how he got 9 minutes against the Blues, and he's on pace for 19 points. So I don't know how that experiment is working out for the Hurricanes. Yeah, yikes. I think Montreal is thanking Carolina for the first and the third. But, Vegas, yeah, you're right. Leonard hasn't been great, but also Vegas hasn't been great from 5-5. Like, they were one of the better 5-5 teams last year in the NHL. Now, I think we could agree that part of this is, you lose Stone, one of the best defensive players in the league. Now he's back. Maybe the numbers improve. Pacioretty, William Karlsson, these are good players. Vegas inside the top 10 in shot attempts allowed, 4th most shots against, and also, what are we looking at here? Scoring chances, number 1, the most scoring chances allowed, number 1, and the most high danger chances allowed as well. And Carolina is number 1 in high danger chances for. So when we were talking about before with other teams allowing a lot and generating a lot, this is the same sort of deal where Vegas is giving up a whole lot and Carolina is generating a lot. So I got to back the Hurricanes here today. I know Svechnikov's been hot or cold, but the amount of rubber that Vegas is giving up, I think him and Aho are in play. And you guys know that I love Shea Theodore. Shea Theodore for his shot prop, always in play. Aho shots on goal, easy money. I agree. Mark Aho's, he's phenomenal. Bit of a pass first guy, but he's been pretty good. All right, the last game on the board here, the Ducks plus 120 home dogs again, Anaheim, and minus 134, Washington. Are you doing it? Are you going back to the Ducks here today or what?
It's tempting, man, because they've been good, and the fact that they're at home, it is tempting. Washington is a very good team. Look at that. They got Ovechkin, who is the epitome of a guy that can just score at will, standing in the same spot that he's done for the last 15 years, and nobody seems to be able to stop him. He's still not breaking Gretzky's record. I just want to be on the record saying that again. But yeah, I'm going to go Anaheim home dogs here.
Dude, you're going to regret being on the record for that. 7 straight games for the Ducks, and Troy Terry has a point in 14 straight games.
Right, just how we drew it up in the offseason.
Oh, man. I don't know. Guys, I'm going to put it in the tracker again. Let's see if it's up here. Troy Terry, what do we got? I mean, the prop shop is just like Google. It's just great. It's not available yet. The NHL books are slow moving here this morning. But he has 20 points in 15 games. What he's doing is completely unsustainable. I will say that. He's a great player. He is a good player, but he's got a 30% shooting rate, which is just, it's not going to happen. He's averaging not going to continue, 3 more minutes per game this season than last. He played 8 minutes in his first game, and he's played 20 plus in 3 straight. I was going to ride this Ducks team out. Why not? I mean, it's not my favorite play, but plus money at home for a team that's won 7 straight games, and we still have Washington, who's pretty depleted, right? I mean, I know Backstrom's close, but he's without a timetable. You got look at this second line, like Hathaway, Lars Eller. Like, I don't think so, man. The Ducks are going to be able to hang here with Washington. It's just all about Ovechkin, trying to keep him off the board. Shot props I don't really like a whole lot. Ovi is not going to be at 3.5. 4.5 is a little high. I don't like to take the under on Ovi because he can get to 5 within a period. I mean, Wilson sometimes a guy that can shoot. I mean, Troy Terry at 1.5. If you can find Terry at 1.5, I think that's okay. But I'll put the Ducks here on my card, like kind of with Detroit at plus 1.5 at minus 155, maybe like a little bit of an upset ticket in there. Okay, so let's recap. Let's recap here. Ovechkin assist. That's a good one. Ovechkin assist, no breaking records against the Ducks. Ovechkin assist, Eric, how many times have we talked about that? Ovechkin assist. Plus 130 tonight for an assist for Ovechkin. Guys, he's not just a goal scorer. I mean, he's arguably the best of all time. But this is a guy who has an assist in 1, 2, 3, 4 straight games. He has 4, 5, 6 assists over that span, and he's got 14 apples on the season. Mark, that's a great call. I skimmed over that. This is one that we've talked about before on this show. Ovechkin assist at plus money. Definitely in play. All right, what do you got in your card? What do you got on your notepad there? A bunch of scribbles.
Yeah, I got a bunch of scribbles. Like I said, DFS, I'm going to be basing my lineups around St. Louis, like some of those players. Like you said, with the 5-on-5 lines and the power play lines by kind of being combobulated a bit there, make your choice. But I'm going to go Tarasenko is going to be in there. I got first to score a goal, our boy Troy Terry. It's a wild bet, but I'm going for it. I got Ducks to win, Detroit to win. As a dog, anytime scorer Kyle Connor, anytime scorer Vladimir Tarasenko, Calgary Flames to win. Anytime scorer Matt Duchene, and the Preds to win tonight as well. I'm going heavy today.
Oh, baby. You're going with the Preds against the Leafs. I like it. I like it. So, yeah, I mean, Florida, New York, Calgary, these are teams I like. The Blues on the puck line. I like Carolina. It may just be a parlay kind of day with some of these upsets on the board. So, Florida, New York, the Rangers, that is, the Flames, St. Louis, puck line, Carolina. I like the over between Winnipeg and Edmonton. I am leaning a little bit with the Oilers against the Jets. But, man, like I said, I know it's a lot of goals, 6.5, but I think we'll see some offense there. I like the under between the Leafs and the Preds at under 5.5. I'm with you on Detroit. I know it's a back-to-back, but why not? Let's get in on here on the Red Wings. Yep. The Stars are not playing good hockey, and Anaheim, I think, as a dog here. I like the Ovechkin call, the Troy Terry points. From a DFS standpoint, Get to the shot props in a second. From a DFS standpoint, I want to stack Edmonton and Winnipeg. There's a lot of value there outside of McDavid and Draisaitl and Connor. There's still a lot of value. Piggyback, Pierre, Dubois, maybe a Hyman, maybe a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. There's a lot of value there. Like I said, both Jets defensemen too, like Morrissey and Pionk are underpriced. St. Louis, a lot of value there with the Blues as well, despite a matchup here against Arizona. Buchnevich, Jordan Kyrou. I think Tarasenko is certainly in play. I like Pittsburgh's number one line with Russ, Kessel, and Crosby here. I like Andre Kasha as a DFS punt play despite not liking a lot of goals. He's 2.6 over at DraftKings. And I like the Florida Panthers second line against the Islanders. Sam Bennett and Huberdeau in play for me. And also one more stack. I mean, there's a lot of games here today. That Rangers first power play unit. The Habs just lead the league in penalties, shorthanded, and their PK has not been good. They've just really struggled. Been good 5-5. But they have really struggled at special teams. So I think that number one Rangers power play, Fox, get involved with him, maybe a point. Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, Panera maybe breaks out. Ryan Strome is underpriced. From a shot prop standpoint, oh man, Eric, I got guys on this list. Bennett, Suzuki, Buchnevich, Timo Meyer / Burns, Nurse / Hyman, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Svechnikov, Aho, Shea Theodore, Dylan Larkin, William Leonard, if you can find 2.5, he probably can. His books are really adjusting. But I would just, if you're looking for 5, it's Bennett, Suzuki, Buchnevich, Meyer or Burns, right? One from the game, and then Nurse or Hyman. There's a lot of props in that Winnipeg and Edmonton game. I think we're going to see a lot of offense, a lot of shots. You can get involved with maybe assists or goals as well. I think that's it. Any final words? We've gone exactly an hour. We got to get out of here.
I'm riding high on my confidence. I got a bunch of wild bets, and we'll see Thursday when we come back on the show where this all lands. The NHL is absolute chaos, guys. It's absolute chaos, but it's fun when you get into a rhythm and you see the players that have momentum and that are doing it. Just keep hammering them until they don't. You know, Troy Terry has been on a heater, so I'm following him. Connor's been on a heater. I'm following him. The Ducks have been on, they're doing it, and until they prove that they can't, I'm going to keep going. And that's to me the way to do DFS, the best way to do season long and sports betting as far as hockey goes.
Mark says we need a longer show. I mean, you and I could talk hockey forever, but Tino's probably like, guys, enough already with the NHL. We will be back on Thursday. Next week, we're going to have Pete Jensen of NHL Network join us. We're going to have a couple weeks here where we do a third show. We won't be around next Thursday for American Thanksgiving, but we'll do a Friday show and help you guys out there. Mark, we appreciate you guys. We are not legends, but man, we wouldn't be here without you guys. And Vladimir, we'll get into Dallas next week a little bit more. This is something that Eric and I have talked about a lot. He says that he can't understand why Dallas is playing that defensive style with guys like Robertson and Radulov and Hintz and Sagan and Pavelski and Klingberg and Heinz. We've been talking about that for a couple years now, right? This is a team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals a couple years ago. I think we're going to see, I agree, Vladimir. He doesn't understand the coaching, the reshuffling of the lines, the chemistry. I think we got to see a coaching change in Dallas. I don't know what they could do. Like there's guys that are near the end of their careers. Like I don't want to say that Ben and Sagan don't have much more to offer. Radulov, I don't think he has a lot more to offer, and Pavelski, but they should be much better than they are. And I don't know if there's a trade that they could make. Maybe they trade one of their younger guys, but I think that would be a mistake. Yeah, the Stars are really they're really puzzling what they're doing right now. But we appreciate you guys. Promo code NHL if you want the betting package. If you want the NHL DFS package, it also includes NASCAR, PGA. It includes all those like specialty sports outside of the NFL and the NBA, esports, college hoops, college football, everything there. If you have any questions, please hit us up. Please rate, review, subscribe. That would do us a lot. Huge favors, guys. It would help this show grow and would help us keep around here. So if you could show us that you're rating, reviewing, subscribing, send that over to @TheEricYoung, @ChrisMeaney, Mean Streets, FTN at Gmail, and we'll get you into a draw because we'll be giving away some stuff. Drinking beer and NASCAR. That's what it's all about on Sundays. Eric, cheers. Tino, thanks. Any questions? As always, hit us up. We'll circle back before puck drop. Have a good one.